Welcome back, everyone. I have some wonderful new biblical studies resources to share with you. I have 5 commentaries on the table this morning, as well as 1 new theology book. There's a new title in the 40 Questions series. So before I get into it, I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you like biblical studies resources. Feel free to like the video if it's helpful to you, and leave a comment if you wish. All right, first up is the new Matthew volume in the Kerux Commentary series, subtitle, A Commentary for Biblical Preaching and Teaching. In this series, every volume has 2 authors. The authors for this Matthew volume are Darrell Bock and Timothy Sprinkle. Those who follow the world of biblical commentaries will probably be familiar with Darrell Bock. He has some very well-reviewed commentaries on Luke and Acts. So, in this series, one author is the exegetical author, the other author is the homiletical author. Darrell Bock is the exegetical author in this volume. He is a professor of New Testament at Dallas Theological Seminary, and Timothy Sprinkle is the homiletical author. And a lot of the homiletical authors in this series are pastors. And so Timothy Sprinkle has served as lead pastor at Leesburg Grace Brethren Church in Indiana for the past 17 years. He's also co-authored 2 other volumes in this series, Philippians and Zephaniah through Malachi. So when you turn to a passage in this commentary, the first thing that you will find is kind of a overview, if I can get my thumbs to work here, is an overview of the section. So I just turned to Matthew 18, verses 21 through 35, and you have this gray kind of summary page for thinking about preaching through the text. So we have exegetical idea, theological focus, preaching idea, and preaching pointers. And then we move into the 2-column exegetical section of this passage. And it's a verse-by-verse commentary. And then we get to this second portion, preaching and teaching strategies. And this is where preachers and teachers will find a lot of help for presenting the material and illustrating it and applying it. So there's preaching idea, contemporary connections, creativity and presentation, and all these subtitles are all duplicated. It's like a template. Every passage you turn to in this commentary is going to have these same subtitles. And then there's discussion questions as well. And then the next section starts with this grayed out section that's helpful to preachers, then the exegesis, and then the presentation and application help. So that's how that series works. But it's neat to see Darrell Bock and his latest book come out. Next up is the Lamentations volume in the Concordia Commentary series. This is by Reed Lessing, or R. Reed Lessing, and this is from Concordia Publishing, a conservative Lutheran publisher. I was just reading an article this morning about biblical studies, some biblical studies resources on the Gospel Coalition website, and it had some really wonderful things to say about the Isaiah volumes in this series. Well, guess what? This R. Reed Lessing has written some of those Isaiah volumes, 2 of those Isaiah volumes in this series, as well as Amos and Zechariah. So he used to teach he currently serves as chair of Old Testament studies at Concordia University in St. Paul, Minnesota. He's also been a pastor and was at Concordia Seminary. So this is a mid-level series. It's designed for pastors, but those who want the in-depth biblical studies on Lamentations in this case, I think would benefit as well. Generally conservative conclusions, conservative perspectives in that Concordia series. Next up is some new volumes in the Focus on the Bible series. It's 1st and 2nd Chronicles. This is a introductory commentary series. It can be used for, pastors can use it, and small groups, Sunday school classes can use it as well. You do not need to know Hebrew in this case to benefit from this commentary series. So the first one is, volume 1 is Adam to David. The second one is Solomon to Cyrus. The author is Philip H. Eveson, who is a former principal of the London Theological Seminary and is authored and author of several commentaries. There's a lot of devotional and theological reflection in these volumes alongside very solid exegesis. So with a book that can be challenging for pastors to present, to make relevant, to make application, volumes in this series can be really, really helpful to that. So 1st and 2nd Chronicles might be a challenging book for a lot of preachers and teachers to make relevant to today, but the Focus on the Bible series is an excellent tool to help us think through that. Next up, the newest title in the 40 Questions series is on the Trinity. The authors are Matthew Y. Emerson and R. Lucas Stamps. Matthew Emerson, PhD, Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary, serves as Dean of Theology, Arts, and Humanity and Co-Provost at Oklahoma Baptist University. And R. Lucas Stamps, PhD, the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, serves as Professor of Christian Theology and Director of the Master's Program at Clamp Divinity School, Anderson University. As far as the content goes, there's 4 parts to the 40 questions. There's an introduction, there's Trinity in Scripture, Trinity in Christian history, and Trinity and Christian doctrine. So an example from the Trinity and Christian Scripture is, what do the Synoptic Gospels teach us about the Trinity? An example from the Trinity and Christian history is, what was the Trinitarian contribution of the Cappadocians? Next, with regard to doctrine, how can God be one in nature but 3 in persons? So in about 300 pages or so, or a little bit less, there's 40 questions asked and answered. Usually the answers are about 5 to 7 pages would be my estimate. So it's a very helpful format with the 40 questions. Next up in the Reformed Expository Commentary series from Trent Casto is the Deuteronomy volume. Trent Casto is a pastor in Florida. Yes, he is the senior pastor at Covenant Church of Naples, a PCA church in Naples, Florida. MDiv Covenant Theological Seminary, Deepen, Corden, Conwell University. So Deuteronomy is, let me back up. So the authors in this commentary series have preached through the book that they're writing about. So the volumes are based on sermons, but they're edited for a commentary format. But you can tell, like, they have a lot of application, theological reflection, devotional reflection, because they were based on sermons. And that way they can be very helpful to pastors preaching on these books, or to lay people who just want to more in-depth Bible study at the level of a really solid, rich sermon. So Deuteronomy is 34 chapters, and this commentary is 48 chapters. So presumably Trent Casto preached Deuteronomy in 48 messages. So that gives you an idea of the depth of the commentary and about his pacing. This sermon here is 23 verses. This one's 16. This one's 6. This one's 22. And most of them are around 10 to 12 pages, 13 pages or so. So it's about a sermon length. So it's a very well-reviewed commentary series as well. So Deuteronomy volume, that's exciting. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Links in the description down below. I will see you next time.